Hello and welcome to our bootcamp. So first of all, welcome everyone. Please let me know where are you coming from? Where are you joining us from? I can see there's a lot of people already on board. Please mention in your chat where exactly are you coming from and also mention whether you can hear me properly or not. So we have Senegal, Turkey, Malaysia, India, Italy, Bangalore, India. Do you love robots? Follow me, please. What is that? Saudi Arab, Pakistan, then Imtiaz from Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan, Kuwait, India, and Mexico, Turkey. Sounds perfect. Congo, that's good. Poland. We have someone from Yemen as well. Serbia, Hungary, again from Kuwait, Argentina, yeah, Greece, Mexico, California. So we have a lot of diversity right now within our boot camp. So that's great to see. And regarding the audio, someone is saying that it's not good. So I think audio is one of the most important parts. So I want to make sure that it is really good before we move on. So we have a filter right now for noise reduction. I am going to remove that and maybe it will be better. And let me fix a little bit from here as well. Okay, can you hear better now? So audio is good, crystal clear. Now, is it better than before or is it worse? There's a lot of background noise. Exactly. That's why we had that filter on so that there is no noise. So I have turned on the filter again so we don't have a lot of noise. So welcome everyone, welcome to this bootcamp in which you will learn the basics, the very basic fundamentals of programming. Doesn't matter where you're coming from, doesn't matter what your background is. We are going to start from the very basics and I will try my best to go along with you guys and we will do it simultaneously. I have reduced the latency. You have options in YouTube, you have different options of latency. I have reduced it down to the bare minimum so that we can interact through the chat. That will be our main advantage of communication, main medium of communication. So it is distracting. What is distracting? Now is increase your volume. I believe it is quite loud. Let me bring the mic a bit closer. But then sometimes you will see in the background here, you will see the mic when I move my finger. So that could be a bit annoying at times. But hopefully this is better now. But you are from? I am from Mars. I live next to Elon Musk, where he has built his Mars community, where he's sending off everyone, God knows for what reason, to Mars. So I have a home there. So that's where I'm from. So the recording will be available only till the session ends. When all of the sessions they end, the recordings will be gone. Bye bye, tata. So that's the idea. So you have to attend, otherwise you will miss out. That's the main point of the boot camp. So let me check. So we are going to start off with the very basics. We are going to learn about programming languages, why do we need a programming language, and how to get started. Doesn't matter if you have a Mac or you have a Linux or you have a Windows PC or laptop. Doesn't matter the specifications. The thing that we are going to learn will be very simple to get started with, but it can be used to build bigger projects. So that's the main idea, and that's what we are going to do by the end of this bootcamp, that we will create our own portfolio website. And not just any portfolio website, because you can just go ahead and buy any portfolio website and just upload it. We are going to create our own AI website, AI portfolio website. So it will have your custom AI integrated that will answer on your behalf. And right after we have completed our bootcamp, there will be a competition as well in which you will participate and you will get a certification. You are going to get prizes from NVIDIA and OpenCV, which are both very large organizations helping us out to teach the basics and sponsor this event so that more people can get into programming and learn all about how to get it up and running. So the competition will be regarding what you have learned, and then you will create your website, you will create your portfolio, you will create your own AI model, and you will give it your own touch. I will explain about the contest later on, and based on that you will submit your application, and that will allow you to enter the competition. Even if you don't win, you will still get a certification, and it will be from CV Zone, and you will have yeah, it is free. So a lot of people ask about, will it be free or do we have to pay something? Everything, absolutely everything in this bootcamp is for free. So you will create a website for free, you will host it for free, you will download Python for free, you will have an IDE, which basically is a platform to write the code. That will be free as well. Everything will be free. And even the AI model nowadays, you do have to pay for the AI model to run it on your own website. But we will find a way to do that for free as well. So everything will be free. What else do you want? So that's the basic idea. So the duration of the bootcamp is currently open. It can take 4 days, 5 days, a week. So it depends on the progress. So if the progress is good, we will leave early. But if it's not, then we have to add on a few more days. And the rest of July, whatever time is left will be for the contest. You will get a good amount of time, 2-3 weeks, to create your own project, and you will learn in the process. So you can watch directly on YouTube, or you can watch through the website as well. Now, the ones who have registered on our website, they will get access to all the material that we teach today. They will get it on the website. They'll be able to download the code. They will be able to download the presentation and all of that. And they will be able to participate in the contest as well. So you do have to enroll on our website to participate. So how long will the stream last? So we have, you can say, a part of the curriculum assigned for each day. So as long as we cover that, right now it's open. We want to see how fast do you grasp the concepts, the ideas, because this is the concept of this bootcamp. I'm going to follow the chat. So when I say, have you completed this part? And then all of you have to answer yes for us to move on. So I will add a poll as well. You can answer yes or no from there. And if there are any questions, we will try to answer those. If anyone has any queries, we will answer those. But related to the bootcamp, not generic questions or not journal questions. So please stay away from that. What will be the curriculum? So the curriculum will be displayed, or you will get to know it as we go along. So bear with me, and we are going to learn all of that. Now, if you want to look at the bigger picture, it will be the basics of Python, and then it will be how to create a basic websites using Python, and then how to integrate AI with it, then how can you use images with that, and then how you can basically create your own portfolio website and have it with your own AI model. So that will be our ending part. I am new to your channel. Welcome. So again, we have similar questions. How long will the bootcamp be? So again, it depends on how fast do you progress. So that's the beauty of this. It's not just one-way communication. It is a two-way communication, which means you will be able to answer whether you understood or whether you completed that part or not. So right now we have a few people joined in, and we can see the community is very active. So let me ask a question. What is going on here? That is a good question. We are about to start a bootcamp related to the very basics of Python and computer vision. Related to OpenCV, I will share the very basics, but we will not dive deep into OpenCV. Rather, we will learn about AI and how we can use AI with computer vision. I am in class 10th. Can I join this course? Of course. Again, it is very basic, very minimalistic, and everyone should be able to follow. So it should be engaging. That is my main purpose here, to have something where the audience can interact as well. Not the audience, the viewers. Is it for beginners? Yes, absolute beginners. What we will learn today, you are going to learn about Python and computer vision, and you are going to create your own portfolio website by the end of this bootcamp. TensorFlow is a bit advanced. We are not going to cover TensorFlow in this series. Again, it's for very basics. Maybe polish your Python skills, create your portfolio websites, create your AI model, deploy it on the web, share it with the world, and let them see what you are capable of. We will be teaching OpenCV a little bit. We will touch it, but the main focus is AI and Python. So we do have some computer vision related to Python and AI, but it's not directly related to OpenCV. Again, the videos will not be on YouTube once the bootcamp is over. So make sure you attend it live and get the most out of it. Okay, so we have more than 100 people joined in, and ready to go. So 130 people have joined in right now, and we have more coming in. So let's go ahead and start with the very basics. And let me give you an overview of how exactly we will proceed. So what I will do is I will explain a little bit, and then I will pause and let you ask any questions, or if you understand, you are going to say, let's keep a word for continue. So do you want to keep it continue, or do you want to keep it done, or what is the word that you want to emphasize that we have understood this part? What should we use? Give suggestions, which is easy to type. Yes, we will have Q&A in between. So I believe most of you are saying done. Is NVIDIA GPU prerequisite? No, we're not going to use GPU. Is the course live every day? Yes, it will be live. Okay, so that being said, I think done is the right word. So we will use done as the word. When you completely understand the concept, you are going to type in done, and then we are going to continue. So let's go ahead and get started. I will give you a brief introduction of programming languages, and then we will move on to writing our first program using Python. Okay, so but of course we need to know what exactly is Python, why are we using it? So are you guys ready? Please type in ready so we can start. Okay, so we have a lot of people ready. So let's begin the boot camp for computer vision, Python, and AI. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, we have don't look at the dot, and I can guarantee that everyone looked at the dot. So there you learned something about human psychology. Whatever you tell it not to do, it will do. So that's one way to get started. Okay, so first of all, let's say we will take an example. Let's say we have a person, that's us, or that's me, let's say. And I want another person to, oh, wait. One second. There's a slide missing. Let me check. That happens sometimes. Okay, so coming back. So we have, let's say that's me. And I can speak English, and I'm referring to another person. I'm asking them to write hello world on a piece of paper. So if the other person knows English as well, then it is a very easy communication thing that I will say, please write hello world on a piece of paper, and the other person is going to go ahead and do that, right? So our language is pretty much the same, so it's very easy to communicate. Now, what happens if I have the other person who does not understand the same language? So in this case, the first person, which is me, can speak English, but the second person can only speak Urdu. So how exactly can you communicate? So to communicate between these two people, we need a third person, which is the translator. Now, the translator will translate, let's say in Urdu, and then they will tell the next person that that is what is required. So there is a communication gap between me and the person on the right. So that's why we have a translator in between. So we are going to look at the example of a computer now. So let's say, okay, guys, don't spam. The timings, as I mentioned, timings are not fixed. We will start at 8, which we have, and then it can go up to 1, 2, or 3 hours. So please don't spam. Okay, so let's say if we have a computer now, I want to ask my computer show hello world on the screen, right? So what language does my computer understand so that I can ask it to do that? So I can speak English, but the computer does not understand English. So what exactly is the language, the primary language which a computer can understand? Is it Python? Is it C++? Is it Java? What is it? Can you tell me in the chat, what do you think is the primary language that a computer can understand? There you go. So a lot of you, pretty much everyone, is saying the computer can understand zeros and one, which is also called binary, right? So the computer can only understand on, which is 1, and off, which is 0. So on and off, that's the only thing computers can understand. Okay, that's good. But how exactly can I tell it to show hello world on the screen? How will it display that? So we need a medium of communication there. So what I can do is I can write zeros and ones to communicate to our computer. Now, this programming language, or this language that a computer understands, is known as machine code. That's the primary language that computers can understand. This is zeros and one. You can call it binary, you can call it machine language, you can call it machine code, whatever you want to call it. It is zeros and ones at the very basic, or at the very core. Okay, let's say I wanted to say show hello world on the screen to the machine. So I will write it in machine code, right? Earlier we had the example where I am saying in English, then it was converted into Urdu, and then it was sent, that was understood by the last person. So if I wanted to write hello world in machine code, this is the code that I will have to write. So if you look at this, it looks beautiful, does it? To me, it doesn't. So this is horrifying. Just to write hello world on a computer screen, you have to write all of this as the machine code. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, this is impossible task. Now, imagine if you wanted to write a complete essay, or if you wanted to write a small paragraph, or if you wanted to write a sick leave to your employer. So by the time you recover, you might be able to complete the complete email. So it is a very, very difficult way to communicate. But unfortunately, that's the only language. It doesn't matter if anybody tells you it's C or Python or Java or whatever language. Computers can only understand zeros and one, and that's the machine code. So humans, they got together, they said, no, this is not good. we need to find a better way. So what do we need? We need a translator in between. So we have our machine code, which is understood by the computer. We have English, which is understood by the human. So in between, we have now a new language, a translator that will translate English to machine code and send it to the machine. And that language is known as the assembly language. Has anyone heard of the assembly language? So is the assembly language easy or difficult? Yes, used to code it on IBM mainframes in the 80s. Oh wow. So maybe you should be the one teaching this part or the complete course. We'd love to get your knowledge on board. So that's the thing. So if you're talking about whether assembly language is easier, then yes, it's easier than machine code, but it's still difficult. So let's see what exactly do we have to write if we want to write hello world on the screen. So for assembly language, we have to write all of this code. So we have to write section.data, then hello db, hello world, comma, 0xa, hello length equal dollar dash hello, then section.text, global underscore star, start. So as you can see, again, just think about you are writing your sick leave and the first thing is dear employer, let's say. So just to write that, you will have to write all of that, and then you have to write multiple paragraphs, and for each paragraph you have maybe 100 words or maybe 50 words, and then just think of the code, the amount of code that will be written just to do a simple task. So that will be a lot more difficult. Now it will be easier than machine code, which is zeros and ones, which is absolutely rubbish to a normal human. But it's easier because we can at least read English and it's not just digits. Okay, that being said, it means we have a better alternative, but it's not very easy still. So what do? We add a new translator. So now we add another language. So that other language is basically your translator. So the human will send the command to the C language. The C language will send the command to assembly language. Assembly language will send the command to machine code, and the machine will run the operation. So that's the basic idea. Now, in theory, our C language should be easier than the rest of two. And that's true. If we look at hello world on the screen example, then all we have to write is hashtag include IO stream, which means input output. And then we write a small function, std cout, hello world, std, colon, end L, return 0, semicolon, bracket close. Okay, so that being said, this is much easier. And if you wanted to write, let's say, a sick leave, this will be much easier to write rather than what we have seen earlier. So that's the basic idea. So this main language, it can be C, it can be C++, it can be Java. So here you can have multiple different languages. This example, it works with C++, but normally Python or other translators, they usually use C most commonly. So that's why we have given the example of C. So let's say we are writing this. Now we have come to a stage where we can still work on it and it's much easier. But then still, a lot of you will say it's still difficult and it's still not as easy as English, right? So then we bring up another translator, which is Python. So now you see the level at which Python resides. So you have Python, which will convert to C, C to assembly, assembly to machine code. That's the hierarchy. So what if we wanted to write hello world on the screen using Python? And this is the answer. Prints hello world. So we started from zeros and ones and we have come up to print hello world just with a bracket, and that's it. So that's how easy programming languages have become, so that it is pretty much close to English. So if I wanted to say print or write hello world, I could say print hello world, right? But here you can see it is pretty much very close to our English language, and it's so easy to write. And if you wanted to write your sick leave with this, it will take you probably 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever time it takes you to write down the sick leave. So the question is this easier? Or do you prefer machine code? Does every language like Java convert to C? No. I will tell you how does that work. So as you can see, it is much easier. So if we look at the hierarchy, this is what you will usually get. So you have your hardware, which is your computer. It can only understand machine language, which is machine code that we saw zeros and ones. That's pretty much it. That is what it will understand. After that, we had assembly language, which is more towards English, but still it's a lot of code. Then we have high-level languages like Java, C++, Pascal, and all these languages. Then once you have that, on top of that, you have languages like Python, which are very, very basic. And pretty much after this box, you will have English. So after Python, I believe that's the only thing you have left. So in the near future, maybe programming will become English, right? So you just say and it will do the thing. But even in that case, I would say Python is very, very close to English. So maybe using English might be confusing because then you have to use grammar and all that. And I think Python is easier than English. So yeah, I would say Python is the easiest and it has the lowest learning curve, I would say. Yes, internally Python is converted into C. Yes. So there are many other programming languages. A good competitor of Python is R, but then you also have JavaScript, TypeScript, but then the difficulty level is a little bit higher with JavaScript, I would say. What does OO mean? OO means object-oriented. Yes, Python first converted to C. Yes, that is true. Don't go into the detail of what is object-oriented. Right now, just understand the concept that Python is basically a translator. And by the way, this translator has a term in our language, in programming language. Instead of saying translator, we call it compiler or interpreter. Interpreter is a little bit hard word to say, at least for me. But yeah, for Python, we have an interpreter Interpreter basically means translator. If you Google interpreter, it's basically translator. So just think each of these boxes as a translator. So Python is a translator which will convert to C. C is a translator that will convert to assembly. Assembly is a translator that will convert to machine code. And machine code is the language that the computer can understand. So we don't need to convert it any further. What is visual language? Visual languages are basically like block languages where you don't actually type the code, you just drag and drop blocks. If this happens, then do this, bring the block here, move it there, and so on. Can you explain the difference between a compiler and interpreter? Okay, so this is a little bit more advanced. Don't get into the details of compiler and interpreter if you're a beginner. Just think of it as the same thing. At some point, they are a bit different, but for now, if you look at the bigger picture, they are the same thing. So don't worry about what is the difference between these two. Yes, Scratch is a visual language. That is correct. So let me actually show you what a visual programming language looks like so you can understand what am I referring to. So if I Google Scratch, this is what we get. So this is a programming language where you have blocks on the left hand side and you just drag and drop that if move the object 50 centimeters, make it jump. So you don't have to write anything down. So that's the idea. So we are able to understand Python completely after this bootcamp. Even I don't understand Python completely. So it's an ongoing process. You have to keep learning. We will try our best to give as much dense and as much information as we can so that you can get started. Okay, so now let me end the poll. And did you understand this part? So if you did, please write done in the chat so that we can move on. Great. So we have a lot of dones. What is the plural of done? Can anyone tell me the plural of done? Someone said done, done, done. Done plus plus, then, done. Plural is dawn. You can still enroll, it's not a big deal, but as soon as the bootcamp ends, the enrollments will close. Duns. That's a good one. Where to enroll? You can enroll on our websites. Let me share the link with you. In website, it is not enrolling. It is enrolling. We have, I believe we have more than 13 or 1400 enrollments. Do you have a Discord channel? Yes, we do have a Discord channel, but it's not very active. Okay, so now, in order to continue, in order to understand Python, in order to write the code with Python, we need to download this translator, which in programming terms is the interpreter. We need to download that And the second thing we need is the notepad. So if I open up notepad, here I have opened up a notepad and I can simply write print hello world, right? So I can basically type here. Then why do we need a different notepad? Because if I make a mistake in writing Python code, this will not tell me. This notepad will not tell me. But the one that we will install, it will tell us that you have written something wrong. This is not available in Python, right? So if your code is wrong, it will help you debug or find the error in your code. That's why we use a notepad, which is compatible with Python programming. And that is what we are going to do now. So all you have to do is you have to go to python.org or just type Python in Google. And here you are going to go ahead and click on python.org. Then you will go to downloads. Don't worry, I'm going to share the link. You are going to go to downloads, and here, depending on which one you have, you can select the versions. Now, in terms of versions, I do not recommend going with the latest one because it might have some errors, it might need some fixing, it might not be compatible with other softwares. So it's like they are improving it, right? So here you can see bug fix, pre-release. So what we will do is we will get a secured one. So here we are getting 3.10 in our case. So you can select a very specific one. In my case, I like to use 3.10.10. Now, you can use later ones as well if you want, but don't use the latest one. I would recommend use the one which is more secure, which is less prone to errors. So we will click on this and it will take you to this download page. Here, if you are using Windows, download this one. This one, 64-bit. If you are using Mac OS, download this one. If you are using Linux, then you can download for Linux as well. So let me add here. So here, or should I add? Are you guys able to see the comments? Maybe I'll add it in the comments so it stays there. Or is there an option to pin it? Maybe I can pin it. Yeah, I can pin the message. So let me pin that. So here we are downloading pin message. Yeah, then I can, oh, I cannot edit after I pin it. That's not good. Okay, I will pin it now. 3.7 is okay, but it's a bit old. So even if you already have 3.7, just install 3.10 and it will still work. I will show you how to switch. So don't worry about that. So the next thing we need is PyCharm. I will add the link to both of these so that you can view them together. So you will go to PyCharm and you are going to go to download, and at the bottom there you are going to, by the way, this was in prerequisites, so I'm hoping a lot of you have already done that. What happened to my, okay, so make sure you download the community version. Okay, don't download the professional version. It will be a trial. It will be a 30-day trial. So use PyCharm Community Edition and just download. If you are on Mac, you will get the option to download for Mac. So what I will do is I will add both of these codes, both of these links here, so you can get started. So here I will write Python. Why does shift enter actually enter? That should not happen. Okay, let me try Python download Python. That's the link, and then we can do download PyCharm. So PyCharm is that notepad that will allow us to check if there are any errors or not. So you can go ahead and, so if you are on Mac, hopefully it will automatically give you the Mac version. If it doesn't, just remove this part, section equals Windows, and refresh it, and hopefully it will give you the correct one. So I've added both the links to the pinned comment. So I will add a poll. Have you finished installing? Have you finished downloading and installing? So this was in the prerequisites. I will play the video for it right now if you want to see the process, because I've already installed all of this. So I created a video of that installation and added it to the prerequisites. But anyhow, we are going to view it here. So let me start a poll as well. I have PyCharm 3.11. So you don't have to download. If you already have 3.11, I have 3.12, then you don't have to download 3.90. That's fine as well. So if it's close, then it's okay. But 3.7 is old, I would say. So don't use 3.7. So people are also suggesting VS Code. Why not VS Code? Now, VS Code is good as well, but it's not as beginner friendly as PyCharm. So you do have to make sure that you create your own virtual environment, and you have to install a few things that come pre-installed with VS Code, with PyCharm. So it's a little bit more difficult to get started with. Now, it's not difficult, but it's a little bit more compared to PyCharm. So if you are a beginner, I would recommend go with PyCharm. So let me open up our website. We are going to log in because I want to show you the process. If you haven't seen the installation process. So if you go to our website, that is what you will get. This is what you will get. And if you go down, you will see This is day 1, and here we have the prerequisites. So if you click on the prerequisites, it will take you to the installation, and here you can play it. Now, you don't really have to go through the video to actually install it. Just make sure you have installed it. The testing part we will do later on, but for now, just make sure that you have installed. So here you will download, and after download, this is the process of installation. So you will click on install now. If we go back, this is what you will get. You will click on install now and make sure you add python.exe to path. And then you hit on install now and it will install. I mean, can it be more simpler? And then we have PyCharm. Then you will simply select your location. You can select all of these, it's optional. And then you will restart. I'm pretty sure it will work without restart as well, but just in case. That's why I added the installation video before time, so that everyone is ready and good to go. So we have some questions. It's present on websites. Okay, this is the answer. Will the live stream will be available on YouTube after it ends? Yes, until our bootcamp ends, you will be able to see the live stream. Slides on website. Yes, you will get the slides on website. We will send you an email when they are uploaded. It will be done before tomorrow's session. Muhammad Sajjad is replying on our behalf. Thank you very much. So if you have just joined in, we are basically installing Python and PyCharm at this moment. And once the installation is done, we are going to go ahead and proceed on. So is there anyone who is still installing? Please answer in the chat. I am still installing. If you are not, if everyone is done, we are going to move on. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for joining. Welcome. You can use VS Code. Yes, you can. I am still installing. No worries. We are waiting for you. So please make sure, guys, that you have installed so that we can proceed. And there's a poll going above the chat where you can write yes once you have installed. I am going with VS Code. No problem at all. You can use VS Code as well. That's not a big thing. Why not telling the website link? You can go to our websites, TV Zone. Jupyter Notebook will also work. Yes, that will work as well. I'm coding on Google Colab. Yes, that will work as well on Google Colab. That should be fine. So it doesn't matter which IDE you are using. In fact, let me tell you something. You can actually write the code on Notepad as well, and you can still run it. That's how funny this is. We can do that as well. But because we have some good features in these new platforms, in these new softwares, why not use them? I can't install PyCharm in macOS. It's a pretty straightforward method. You just have to drag and drop in the applications folder, and it should get installed. For front end, we will use HTML, CSS, JS. For backend, Python, Flask, Django. No, this is for beginners. We are not going to use any of those. We will be using plain Python to create the website. Both the front end and the back end. Thanks for this workshop. You are most welcome. Taking session with hyperactive kid. Yeah, that can be difficult. It can be difficult to manage two things at the same time. But good luck. Maybe you should add that in your skill. So once you create your portfolio website, you should add that I can multitask. So that will be a plus. Dr. Strange, thank you as well. Great to see you back after AI for Everyone sessions. Good to be back. Let's continue. Ansh Kapoor says, let's continue. So if you are ready to go, write down done in the chat and we will get started. So we are getting a lot of dones. Completed equals plural of done. Okay, if you say so. Thanks for good contents. Good job, sir. Thank you very much. Good to have you on board. Okay, so let's move on. And now we are going to do some magic with programming. So all you have to do, you have to open up your PyCharm and we will get started. So let me close that. Let me close that. And this is what you will get. So it might be a little bit different if you're on Mac. It might be a little bit different if you're using a newer version or an older version. There might be some differences, but overall, this will be the bigger picture. So here we are going to write. So the first thing we have is the name. We are going to write Python CV Bootcamp. So we are simply going to write Python CV Bootcamp, and now comes the very important part. The location, of course, you can choose whatever location you want. I'm installing it in D. The most important part is that the interpreter. So if you remember, we used that term before. Where did we use it? When we were learning about translator. Translator equals interpreter, right? So it is asking us, so this here is PyCharm, right? PyCharm is just a notepad. We need to connect it to our Python interpreter. So it is asking us, where is your interpreter? So we are going to select that. So here you will see multiple of these. So here you can see these, the ones that have download and install. It means it will download and install for you. We don't want that. We want the one that we have already installed. So here you can see we have Python 3.10. This is 3.10. So whatever Python you have, you will click on that and then you will hit create. So make sure that you do this. This is very important. Now, meanwhile, everyone basically does this. I will explain what exactly is happening. What happens is you have downloaded Python, right? Let's say this is Python. Is my hand visible? Yes. Let's say this is Python and this is in your computer. This is a translator in your computer. Now, if you want to run different projects, you will install different libraries in Python. So you will bring in a library, you will bring in another library, then another library. So you will install multiple libraries. Now, what happens is if you are creating another project, then these libraries, they might clash. So it might not work with that project. In order to make it simpler, what we do is we copy the Python and we use it for our new project. So we downloaded Python, and every time we create a project, we copy the Python, and then whatever we install in that new one. We don't install in the original one. So this is the original, this is one project, this is another project, this is another project, and so on. So when you copy it, that is called a virtual environment. So that's the very basics of virtual environment. So when you copy it, it is a virtual environment in which you will install everything related to this project. So that's why it is asking us project virtual, V is for virtual, E and V is for environment. So it is saying, I will go to this link, I will copy that Python, and I will paste it in this folder. I will copy it and I will paste it in that folder. So whatever installations we do, whatever project we create, it will not affect the original Python. It will only affect our copied Python. Does that make sense? Or am I talking to a wall? Or am I just hallucinating? So a lot of you were asking, can we use VS Code? Yes, you can use VS Code. But when you use VS Code, it doesn't copy that Python by itself. You have to write some code to copy that Python. But with PyCharm, it copies that code, it copies that Python and makes it a new folder. And then whatever we do, it will be in that folder. Did everyone understand the concept of virtual environment? So whenever you are creating a new project, we will not use the original Python. We will only use the copy version of that Python. I watch all your videos. You make very interesting projects. Thank you very much. Glad to have you on board. Virtual environment created and understood. Good explanation. Thank you. Sir, make tutorial TensorFlow and PyTorch. Noted. I will do something about it. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and hit create. Once we create it, we are going to get this. So this will be our notepad in which we can write the code. Now it is very important to understand the basics of PyCharm to get started with the programming. So once you have that, you can see that we have .venv. This is the virtual environment that it has created using the Python that we had. So it installed a lot of different things that come with Python that basically helps us translate and run. We are not going to go in the detail of any of these. So if this virtual environment is open, do me a favor and close this, because a lot of the beginners, they get confused here that, oh my God, this is very difficult. There's a lot of folders, there's a lot of code, there's a lot of different things. Oh, that does not make any sense. What's going on? Close all of that. Close this folder. Close it completely. We are never going to touch that. Don't worry. I have some queries when I use virtual environment and push to GitHub. Should it be useful for another users? Yes, it can be useful, but when you do that, it will be a very big file. So your project will be very big. So normally people don't do that. Okay, so how do you get started? It's very, very simple. Here, the folder that we have, which is basically the name of your project, we are going to right click it, go to new, and create a Python file. It's going to be very interesting, hopefully. So just click on that, and here it will ask you, what do you want to name it? Just write, let's say, main, M-A-I-N. That's it. So here we will have main.py. I will repeat the process because a lot of beginners, they get stuck here. You right click, then you go to new and then Python file. So it's been 20 minutes for the previous poll. So we are going to end it and we are going to add a new poll. So I will repeat, right click on the folder, new, and then Python file. These videos will be removed when the bootcamp ends. After a few days, when the bootcamp ends, it will be removed. It will be at least a few days. Tip, very easy to follow the steps if you have second screen. Yes, that is true. If you have multiple screens, it makes it very easy to follow. That's true. So on one side you have the video playing, and on the other side you have your code running. So that's true. So let's see how many people created the file. 46, only 46. Come on guys, we have to reach 100. I'm here on your channel. YouTube suggests your car counting video. I watch it. You explain it very well. Thank you. Thank you for being here. 2 PC here. Okay, that is one way to go. But yeah, a second screen is helpful. Or if you are rich, you can have a second PC as well. So I'm waiting so that most of you have, or ideally all of you have created the Python main.py file. Sir, according to me, you are a legend in computer vision domain. Thank you very much. I have divided my screen into two. Yeah, that is one way to go as well. If you don't have access to multiple screens, you can basically split it down into half, and it will be easier for you to. Done, sir. Main.py. I am a physician, MD. That's good to know that doctors are participating in the coding bootcamp as well. So that is the interesting part, that this is so simple that I believe anyone can do it with any background. So it doesn't have to be an engineering or technical background. I used picture-in-picture mode. Okay, that's good. But wouldn't it be too small if we do picture-in-picture? I'm interested in computer vision for medical imaging analysis. A great field, definitely. I have no background as of yet. Hopefully after this, you will, and you will have written your first program and understood a little bit of programming. Okay, so now that you understand how to write main.py, what we will do is we will delete it. So it's counterintuitive, but we need to learn how to create files, and we need to know how to delete. I am in class 8. Oh, that's great. So hopefully this will be the beginning of your career. So go ahead and delete main.py. So click on the delete, or right click, and where is delete? Here, there you go. Delete and press OK. So now we will go ahead and create another file, which we will call chapter 2. Chapter 1 was installations that we have already completed. Chapter 2 is basics. So chapter 2 underscore basics, that is the name of our file. So make sure that you name it as it is. Chapter 2 underscore basics. So it will be easier for us to refer to which file are we talking about further down the road. I have learned a lot by watching your videos. I think this project will also be very useful for everyone. Hopefully, thank you. And NVIDIA Jetson videos series what? Okay, I'll look into that as well. We do have a course on that if you want to check that out. We also have a free course on YouTube as well on that, I believe. Do we? I think yes, we do. Okay, so we have to name chapter 2 underscore basics, and then we will hit enter. So now we are going to go ahead and start writing our code. So the very first thing you have to learn is how not to write code. So it's counterintuitive. Instead of writing code, we will learn how not to write code. So the very first thing is how to write comments, which are just English and not code. For example, I can write hashtag. So hashtag is how you write a comment in Python. So whatever I write after the hashtag, it will not be executed. Or you can say it will not be code in simpler terms, right? So that's the basic idea. So what do we call this? We call this a comment. So we can write here comments. So that is what comment is. Whatever I write after the hashtag, it will not be executed, or you can say it will not be code. Should be a comma. So that's the main idea of comment. So now the thing is, why do we need comments? Whenever you are writing code, it's good to write comments along with it, so that when you read it later on, you understand what you did. Or if somebody else is reading that code, they also understand what exactly were you trying to do when you wrote this code. So that's why you should always write comments. As a beginner, always write comments. Even now, I've been coding for a very long time, and I try my best to add a lot of code. Now, sometimes it can be excessive, but that is not today. Just write the comments, whatever makes you understand, or whatever you think is important, just write it as a comment. Okay, so that is the first thing that you have learned, that this is a comment. That was our first thing that we have understood. Now, the second thing we will learn is the example of writing hello world. So if you remember, we started off with the example of print hello world. So all our examples were about printing hello world, showing hello world on the screen. So that is what we are going to do. And the code is exactly the same. We are going to write print hello world. So if we go here, we are going to write print, and we are going to write hello world. So that's how you can simply write. Can anyone tell me what is the name of this? What do you call this? Can anyone tell me the name of this? Inverted comma, string, quotation mark, exclamation mark, double quotes, comma, string, double quotes. Yeah. So you can basically say quotation mark or double quotes. It's up to you. But the idea is whatever you write inside here is going to be printed. It's going to show on the screen. So how does it show? All you have to do is you have to right click on your file, right click and click on Run Chapter 2 Basics. By the way, today we are also going to use AI to write some code. So it will be interesting. So stay tuned by the end of this session, and we will be using AI to write code for us as well. So you are not just learning about the basics of programming, you're learning the basics of programming into 2024, which means you will learn the newer way of programming. Okay, so if you click on Run Chapter 2 Basics, it will open this up. This is called a terminal, and it will print on that hello world. And if you ran this without any errors, congratulations, you have written your very first code. Clap it. Clap for yourself, because you have successfully written your first programming file, first programming code, file, whatever you want to call it. So you have completed that. So I believe this is the right time to create a new poll, and let's write down, have you successfully completed, have you successfully or did you successfully run the hello world code? Please answer in the poll, and if you have done it, please send the clap emoji in the chat. Everyone who has completed, please send a clap emoji in the chat congratulating yourself and everyone who is who has completed their code. This is a single line comment. This is a multiple line comment. Oh, we will get to that. Don't worry. We are going to get to that as well. There you go. That's it. A single clap. I was hoping there will be lots of claps from each of you. There we go. 4 claps in a single comment. That's what we want. Lots of claps. So we have 48 people that have run the basic code. They're completed their first code. 49, and now it should be 50. Congratulations, 50 people. I forgot, where is the emoji? Oh, we have a lot of emojis now. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So we need to have lots of emojis, lots of claps, because to be honest, for someone who is not of a technical background, if they have reached this point, that's a big success for them. So from the point of knowing zero programming, they have successfully written their first program. Now it's very simple. It says hello world, but that's not the point. The point is they have completed the first ever code, your basic hello world. And by the way, most people, when they learn programming, this is the code that they write. In fact, I have seen a lot of memes about hello world. So now, if you see a hello world meme, you will also be able to understand that. So let me show you. So if we go here, there you go. We have a meme. What was your first thing you programmed? Hello world, other almost identical to hello world. So it's the same thing, right? So there was a meme about earning money and writing hello world. Oh, this one is good. So this means that when you are writing the code after a long time, then instead of writing print hello world, you write hello world print. So you forget how to even write hello world. So what is that? So there you go. So I believe this is in C and this is in Python. So it's the same thing. So if you have seen The Office, she says they are the same picture. So print hello world is pretty much the same as writing all of that in C. Oh, it's Java. Oh yeah, it's Java. So this is Java. I used to write in C I think the last time I wrote something in C was in 2013 or 12. So I have completely forgotten. So this meme applies to me, this one. But the good thing is, that's the thing. If you learn any programming language, especially nowadays, it doesn't matter if you don't know the rest of the languages. You can learn in a week or two. You can simply get used to of it. Okay, I wanted to find that meme with money. So meme money, I believe it was of a friend. Okay, I don't know what that means. Day one this and day two that. Make so that meme was basically it said that my friend who wrote a hello world what do you call it, program, and then in the next meme it showed a lot of money and it's just flowing everywhere. Okay, so let's move on. So a lot of you hopefully have completed the hello world example, and that is pretty much the, I would say, the boilerplate of starting to learn programming. So if you have done that, great. Now we are going to move on. So the next thing is that we have to make sure that we take care of indentation. So now we are going to do everything in steps. So what we will do is we will write comments with it. So for example, here we will write hello world example. So here it will print hello world. Now the next thing we are going to learn is called indentation. So what is indentation in Python? So indentation basically means that if you are writing hello world, you cannot write it like this with a space. You cannot just keep adding space as you wish. So it has to be at the very beginning. So that's what it means. So indentation, that is what it means, that it cannot be like this or this. Okay, so here you can see it shows red, which means it is an error. So this is wrong. So whenever you are writing, you have to start from the very basic, from the very left. You cannot add unwanted space. That's the basic idea of indentation. Then we are going to go ahead and move on to how to comment multiple lines. So if you want to comment multiple lines, then you can comment multiple lines by selecting the lines and pressing Control plus backslash. Okay, so you can select. So for this instance, I can select all of this and I can press Control and backslash, and it will comment it for me. So that's the basic idea. And if you wanted to reverse it, you can select it all and then Control and backslash. So even when you are commenting and when you are uncommenting, it will be the same thing. Control backslash, Control slash backslash, Control backslash. So here the spellings are wrong. Pressing. So make sure you press Control and I can write here in brackets back. Oh no, it's not back, sorry. It's slash. Forward slash. Sometimes when you're talking a lot, you forget a few things. So this is slash, it's not backslash. Isn't it forward slash? Yes, my bad. So there are more ways to comment and uncomment, and we will not go into a lot of details. For now, this is the primary two ways that you can comment and uncomment. So make sure that you understand that. So I will comment this part, and that should be good to go. Now, the next thing we are going to learn is arithmetics. Arithmetics are basically addition, subtraction, and so on. So how can you do that? You can simply write print, let's say 4 plus 5. And if I run this, it will give me the answer 9. Right? So the same way, you can write subtract, you can write divide, you can write multiply, and so on. So, and you can also write power 2. So I can write print 10 minus 5. I can write print 3 multiplied by 2. I can write print 12 divided by 5. So if I run all of these, you can see this is the answer: 9, 5, 6, 2.4. As you can see, these are all the answers. Now, if you are printing it out, it's a little bit difficult to understand which is the answer of which. So you can also write it like this. So here you can see if you wanted to write text, you can write it like this, right? So you can write it with double quotes, and here you can write 4 plus 5 equals, and then you can put a comma after the quotes. This is the double quotes, and here this is the answer. So if I print this now, you will see 4 plus 5 equals 9. We can remove the empty space here. And if we rerun this, you can see 4 plus 5 equals 9. So we can write it like this. Why not using format? F string. Guys, we are starting from the very basics, so I don't want to push start. We are learning step by step, so don't worry, other methods will come up as well, but we are trying to get started with whatever is the easiest for the beginners to learn. So if you put spaces in between, then that's the standard format. So if we wanted to write it down, we can simply write here that 10 minus 5 is equal to this, and then 3 multiplied by 2 equals this, and 12 divided by 5 equals this. So if we run this, you can see now in the results we are printing that. So has everyone understood this concept? Please answer in the chat. Is everyone on board? Are you able to understand this? Okay, so that's good that a lot of you have understood the basics of arithmetics, indentation, and the hello world example. Now comes a very important part, which is data types. Now this is more towards programming. Earlier what we did was mostly mathematics with arithmetics. Now we are actually moving on to the data types. So here we are going to write data types. So there are a lot of data types, but we are going to look at the three main data types that we have that are the very fundamentals of all the data types. So we are going to go ahead and understand that. I understand better than at my school. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. So what exactly are data types? Now, we are going to store values. We are going to store different information so that we can process it. So that part is known as variables. So variable is basically a box. So let's say we have a variable called name, right? Now that name is basically a box. Inside that box, we will put in a value, right? That value, let's say for the name, it will be Murtaza. Now this data type is a string. Now what does that mean? It means that what variable type did we add in our box? Is it a number? Is it a name? Is it a decimal number or a fraction? Or is it a yes or no? Is it a true or false? what is it that you put inside the box? What you put inside is called data, and its type is basically a string or a number or a boolean, and we will look into all of those. So in this case, our data, this is our variable. So this is variable equals the value. So the spellings are wrong as usual. So name is basically the variable, and inside that we are putting the value of Murtaza. Now, is this Murtaza, is this a number? Is this a yes or no? Or is this a string? Or is this English, right? So if this is English, we call it a string. If it's English, we call it a string. So it's simply text. So it's or English. English might not be the best way to represent this. So we can also write text. So if it's text, we call it a string. So that's how we can represent our first data type. So this is for strings. So whenever you write strings, they need to be in double quotation. They can also be in single quotation, single quotes. So you can write single or double. So this is our first data type. The data type is basically string, which means we have a name here. So normally we write it with double quotes. You can write with single as well, but normally we write it with double. Then you also have numbers. So it can be, let's say, age equals 30. So if it's a number, we call it integer. You don't have to worry about that. So the same way we have strings, if it's a number, we call it an integer. Now, similarly, we also have a third type, which is Boolean. What is Boolean? It is a true or false. So the question is, let's say, is male, this is your variable. If it's true, we will write true. If it's false, we will write false. So these are the three data types that we are going to use. So, for example, I want to test you out on this. For example, we are a mobile company, right? And we want to store information about the mobile phone. So let's say we are a mobile company example, right? Now, first of all, we need to write the name of the mobile. Now, will this be a string? Will this be a number, or will this be a Boolean? Can you please tell me in the chat which of these three will this be? Name of the mobile phone. Yes, it will be a string. because it is a word. That is correct. So for example, here we can write Samsung. So that Samsung is basically your string. Okay, so next up we are going to write is launched. Is this LAUNCHD? Is this a Boolean, a number, or a string? Which of these is it? So is launched will be Boolean because we have an option of true or false, whether it is launched or it is not launched. It cannot be both at the same time. So we can write here, let's say true. And then we can write price equals, will this be a Boolean, string, or a number? Should I make it bigger so it's easier to read? Parents, theme. I believe we had a font option here somewhere. Yeah, here. Size. Is this easier to read? So yes, so people are saying that it will be a number. So that's good. And this is because it should be a number. So for example, the price is $4.99. So that is a number. So now we have understood three different of data types, three types of data types: string, numbers, and booleans. So whenever we are storing values, we are going to use any of these three. So pretty much most of the cases, this is what you will get. Now the next thing we are going to learn is the naming convention. The naming convention. So we will write here naming convention. What does that mean? It means how do you write the name or the variable name in Python. So different languages have different methods. So there are two main types. One is camel case. Camel case. It is written like this: my variable name, with where the first letter is small, and then after each of those letters, the first letter is going, after each of those words, the first letter is going to be capital. So here V is capital, here N is capital, so that it's easier to read. So here you can see my variable name. Now in Python we use snake case, which is basically written like this: my underscore variable underscore name. So whenever we write a new word, we write underscore in between. So my underscore variable underscore name equals this. So this is a convention that you should follow. If you don't follow, it still works. So for example, I can also write it like this: my variable name equals Murtaza. Now this will work. This will work. But it is not easy to read. If I want to read this, I will have to break it down into different words to understand what exactly is the actual word or the variable name. So that's why we use either this or this. In Python, we don't use this. In Python, we use the snake case, which means you basically are making a snake which has these different parts with underscores in between. So that's the basic idea. So if you go back here, when we wrote is male, is this camel casing or is this snake casing? Is this camel casing or is this snake case? So this is, what is this? This is camel casing. So should we use this in Python? So we should not use this in Python. So what exactly should we use? How can we write it correctly? So here we have a comment, we can, but for conventional purpose, we use snake case. That's true. So snake case is preferred in Python, as we have seen. So instead of this, we would write, how would we write this? Yes, Muhammad Sajjad has mentioned that we should write is underscore male with a small m and a small I. So is that understood? Is the naming convention understood? We can write like this, but it is difficult to read, so we follow a standard naming convention. So I think we can put this part down here. Okay, so that's good. We have understood this part. Now we are going to, so we have understood different variable types. Now there is another variable that is made up of different variables, and that is called a list. So instead of writing all these three different information in different variable names, we can write it in one single list. So we can write it like this, list. So a list is basically, you can write, let's say, my mobile, and then equals, we can write, it is Samsung, then is launched, is true, and then the price is $499. So now I have the information of my mobile phone in a list. So whenever you want to write a list, you have to start a bracket, a square bracket, and you have to end with a square bracket. Whatever information is inside, you can split it down using a comma. So this is entry 1, this is entry 2, this is entry 3. So that's how you can write a list. So instead of writing 3 different variables, you can write it in one go. Now you can also store similar information in one list. For example, you can write my, or you can, let's say my fruits equals apple, banana, and cherry. So we have 3 entries, 1, 2, and 3. And if I wanted to add another, let's say fruit, let's say lemon, I can write lemon. And don't forget the double quotes. So again, I will repeat the concept of list. It's very simple. What you are doing is you are putting some information in one place. So this is a list which has 4 values inside it. So this is value number 0, this is value number 1, this is value number 2, and this is value number 3. In programming, you always start from 0 and not with 1. Okay, in programming you always start with 0. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Let me write it down so it's easy for you to follow. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Zero, 1, 2, 3. That's the basic idea. So now, if I wanted to access the information, for example, banana, then I can write my fruit underscore, and then I can write a square bracket, and inside that I can give in a value. If I write 0 over here, it will give me the value of apple. If I write 1, it will give me the value of banana. So I can write here, let's say selected fruit equals my fruits at 1. So if I want to print this out, if I print the selected fruit, what will be my answer? Will it be apple? Will it be banana? Will it be cherry? Or will it be lemon? Can you please tell me in the chat, what will be the output of print selected fruit? Yes, that is correct. The answer will be banana. Now, if I were to change this, actually, let's run it first. So you can press here to run it as well, or you can right click and run from here as well. Again, you can press from here to run, or you can right click and press run. So if we look at the answer, It says banana. Now, if I were to change this to 3, what will be my answer? Yes, the answer will be lemon, because we have at value 0 is apple, at value 1 is banana, at value 2 is cherry, at value 3 we have lemon. So we are asking for value number 3, and if we run that, it will give us lemon, right? So that's the basic concept of a list. Lists are very useful, and you will see why they are so useful when we start working on different projects. Now we have one more topic to learn, and then we will make a small project, and hopefully we will be done for this session if everyone understands the concepts. So the next thing is how to get a user input. So for example, we can write here, let's say I want the user, I want to store their name. Sometimes when you go to a website, they will ask you for your name, your ID, your age, and then they will store that information somewhere in their database. So it's the same thing. You will ask, let's say, the name, and we will call the user to input it. In order to do that, you can simply write input, and we can write enter your name. Of course, this is English. You can write anything that you want, and we will close the bracket. So we will simply write input and then close the bracket, and then we can simply write print, let's say, your name is whatever the name that we received. Index error, list index out of range. I only wrote 3 elements. So you have to write 4 elements in order to access number 3. If you have 3 elements, you can go up to 2. So make sure you understand that part. Okay, so if we run this now, it will first ask me the name, and then it will write your name is whatever we wrote. So if I run this now, it will ask me enter your name, and let's say I write Hassan, and then it will write your name is Hassan. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, that's the main point, that you ask the user for some input, and then you can store that value and reuse it again. So is this concept clear? So if everyone is clear till input, we are going to go ahead and create our first project, which will be a calculator app. So if everyone is clear, please write done. If you have any questions, you can ask in the chat. So now we are going to create a program, a software that is actually useful. So we will ask the user to input two values, and it will be a simple calculator. And what should we do with it? We can simply add those values, or let's say we will calculate the tax, the deductible tax. So, or should we do a tax, or let's do a calculator. I think that will be better. A simple calculator. So it will ask you what are the two values, and then it will ask you, or will it ask you? No, it will just add. So that's addition calculator. Let's say we will create an addition calculator. We will give in two values. It will add those up and give us the answer. So here we can go ahead and right click and create a new Python file. And we are going to call it addition underscore calculator. Addition calculator. We will hit enter. And here we are going to create our calculator. So the first thing we will do is we will write addition calculator. Then we are going to ask the user to do something. So what do you think should be the first thing that we should do? What is the first thing that we should do? So we need to ask user for the two values, and then we will add them up. So we will ask the user to enter the values, right? So let's say we will say that value underscore 1 equals input, and then we will write here enter the first number. So the user is going to give in the first value, and then we are going to ask for the second value. We will say value 2, enter the second number. So here we have value 1, here we have value 2. Now we have stored both the values, and now we need to add them up and show it as an output. So we can say that our answer equals value 1 plus value underscore 2. So that's our answer. Now to display this, we are simply going to print our answer. So we ask the user enter input value 1, input value 2, we add them up, and then we print the answer. So let's go ahead and try it out. So if we run this, right click, run addition calculator, and it says enter the first number. So the first number, let's say, is 5. Then it says enter the second number. It says, let's say it's 3. And then we hit enter. And the answer is 53. That is the best calculator ever, because it is giving us 5 plus 3 equals 53. So that is the best calculator ever. So what exactly is the problem? So I want you to figure out, why is this value wrong? So it seems that it is not adding them up. Earlier we saw that if we write 4 plus 5, it adds them up. But now we are saying value 1 plus value 2, but it did not add them up. It's just putting it together and it's making it 53. Why is that the case? Yes. So it seems a lot of you have understood why we are getting this problem, because we discussed data types. Data types are string, number, or boolean. Right now, our values are strings. We are getting strings. So even if I don't write a number, if I run this again, and if I write ABC and then I write 5, it will give me ABC5 as the output. So it means both of the values, they are basically strings. Even if it's showing a number, inside it's a string. What does that mean? Right now this 5 is actually like this. The 5 that we need should be like this, without the quotation, right? Without the double quotes. So that's the difference here. Yes, we can use type to actually get the type as well. So right now, both of these are strings. So how can we convert it into a number? What are numbers called? They are called integers. And to display or to convert integer, to convert this raw text, this into this, all we have to do is we have to write int, which means integer, and then bracket. It means it will convert it into integer. If we run this now, it will, let's say 5 and let's say 3, it will give us an error, because the first value is integer and the second value is string. So both of them should be string, or both of them should be integer. So we need to write here as well integer, and there you go. So if we remove these and if we run it again, now we can write 5 and 3, and that will give us 8. So we can write here the answer is 8. Oh, sorry, not the answer is 8. The answer is, and then it will give us the answer. So if we run this now, it will show us 5 and 3. The answer is 8. So there you go. You have created your first app or programming software that can add up to values. Now that's very simple, but still it is a start, and it's a way forward that you will be using to learn the rest of it. Yes, by default, input returns a string. So input, when you write input, enter a value. Whatever value is stored here is a string. So we have to convert it into integer, and then we can simply print it out. Now, I did mention, before we do that, let me ask you a question. Have you completed the calculator app? So if you have any questions, you can ask if you did not understand anything. Now we are going to look into the AI part that I promised, that we will be doing some coding with AI as well. So we will go to ChatGPT and we will ask it to write some code for us. So what we will do is I will put this on one side and I will put the calculator on the other side. And if we were to ask ChatGPT to write the code for us, let's say we had to write the same program. So write code for addition calculator using Python. This program will add two numbers together and print the result. So let's see, how does the AI write the code for us? Is it going to be the same? Will it make the mistake of integer and string, or will it be perfect? So let's go ahead and find out. So right now it is doing it a little bit more difficult. It's using functions that we have not studied. So I will write here, don't use functions. And we will run it again. So if we compare, it is saying we have written value 1, it is written number 1, input the first number, okay, then enter the second number, that's pretty much the same thing, then it is converting. So there you go, it is converting. Now it is converting it into float. What is float? Float is any number that has a fraction, that has a dot inside. So integer is basically 8, 10, 6, 1025. These are all integers. Float, on the other hand, is 8.0, 10.0. Why is it all zeros? 8 point, let's say 5, 10.3, 6.2, and 1025.0. All of these are floats. So that's the difference. So what it is doing is that it is assuming that you might give fractions as well. So you might have decimal places. So that's why it is giving a floating conversion rather than integer. So you can do that too. And then it is writing result equals number plus number. And then it is writing the sum of number 1 and number 2 is result. So that is good. I mean, that works as well. That's a nice way to output this. So I have one question about computer vision. We will get to computer vision, don't worry, later in the boot camp. Can you also please tell me the extension you use to complete the sentence in your ID? It's Copilot. Can we add two string number? You can add, but no, not like that. So if you write 4 plus 7 as in English, then it will give you 4, 7 without space. So it will not actually add it up if it's a string. So in order to add them up, we need to convert it into numbers first. So that's the basic idea. So here, now you can ask ChatGPT similar questions. So for example, write code for a calculator app that uses input from the user. Don't use any functions. Let's see what it does. So now it is giving you option of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and here you can enter a choice. If the choice is 1, it will do this. If the choice is this, it will do that. Now this is a little bit more complicated, which we will study tomorrow. But for now, you can experiment and you can run this code. Now, by default, this code will run for you as well. So if I run this here, it will ask me select operation, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So let's say I want to do multiplication. So I will write here 3, enter the first number. So the first number is, let's say 2, and the second number is, let's say 10. So it will give me the result of multiplication is 20.0. I mean, it works. Now, that's how you can leverage AI models to actually help you write the code as well. So, but don't go into too much detail as of yet. Right now, we are just learning the basics. So stick to this as your project. So, did you understand what we have studied so far? So we had our chapter 2. In fact, let me create a file here for chapter 1 as well. I will add those in the course, in the boot camp. So chapter 1 underscore installations. So in that, we only have to do 2 installations. Number 1 is download Python, and number 2 is download PyCharm. So that is also parts of our course. So, are there any questions? Is there anything that is not understood? I hope this was exciting for you to build, because not only did you create your first program with Hello World, you learned the basics of a little bit of programming, and you use that to create an addition calculator app which can add to values. Now, if you go to the AI model and you ask it questions, you can make it write code for you, and you can take this a step further. So this way you can create different apps that can maybe calculate the text for you. Maybe it can calculate different values where you have to do some mathematical calculations. So all of that can be done within your programming. You can automate these tasks using these scripts. So these are what they are called. These are three different scripts. So this is it for today. I hope you have learned something new. Tomorrow, at the same time, we will be coming back and we will continue with chapter 3 and 4, and we will understand further on how exactly can you program, what are the different techniques that you can use, and then we will also create a simple project like we have done over here, but it will be a bit more advanced than this one. So hopefully, so the timing will be the same. There will be a live session for that as well. Right after this session, there will be the time that will be shown on the live session, and it will be the same as we started today. So make sure you tune in at that time. So thank you all for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully you can send me an emoji at the chat so I know that you have completed everything and we are good to go. So the classes will be every day. Classes will be every day, same time, until we complete the course. So there is no homework for now, but you will be getting a contest. So you can participate in that contest once we complete the basics. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you in the next session. Goodbye.